Tara's aesthetic has always been like really minimal, really simple, um, just about very basic pieces but styled together really nicely. With Tara, I realized over lockdown that a lot of her looks were very similar to like Rachel Green styling in Friends, but none of that was planned. Like it just happened to look the same way, and I was like, oh my god, like people are gonna think that I just like chapoed her style here. I think Diet Sabya is the reason everybody's on their toes. I think you know what the sad part is that as a stylist, when you have a brand shoot or when you have something where they're like, we want this, okay, so you can't go up to a brand and say, I'm not going to do that for you, because you have a responsibility as the stylist to give them what they want, the way they portray it. Shanaya's more experimental, she's more edgy, she's more sporty and things like that, but she also she also enjoys doing like beautiful Indian, and because she's really cool, because she has a great sense of style on her own. Like I don't think she even needs a stylist.
So making a Bollywood actress look good isn't as easy as it looks. But to some people it comes easy. One of them is Meagan Concessio, who is the person behind some of the most spectacular looks of Tara Sutaria, Shanaya Kapoor, Khushi Kapoor, Sonam Kapoor Ahuja, Kareena Kapoor Khan, to name a few. Hi Meagan, and thank you for joining us at Pink Villa today.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to speak to you guys.
How did you become a stylist? Because I know that you were assisting Riya Kapoor for a while and then it just took off from there. So how did it happen?
I started working with Riya back in 2015, and I did D-Ray with her, and I did a bunch of stuff with Sonam, her promotions, her everything, like everything Sonam did, we would work on. And then I joined Manish Malhotra's team for Student of the Year 2. So I did that film, and that's how I met Tara actually. So I began working with Tara immediately after the film. She asked me to help her out with like some personal events that she was doing, some parties and things like that, and we kind of really hit it off. And that's how I sort of began working as like I started working solo after assisting. So that's how that happened.
Okay, so you started styling Tara after Student of the Year 2. And from then to now, you've styled multiple events, occasions, red carpets. Have you seen a change in her style over the years?
I wouldn't say a change in her style. I think Tara's aesthetic has always been like really minimal, really simple, just about very basic pieces but styled together really nicely. So I think as we've kept working together, we've tried to do different things, but more or less the style her style has been the same. We both sort of have very similar taste when it comes to clothes. Like we always like DM each other, certain looks from certain brands, and like, oh my god, and she's like, oh my god. So we kind of get along that way, and we're on the same page when it comes to style. So that always helps. Yeah.
Is there anything that Tara's very against? Like if you show her something and she's like, no Meagan, I don't like this sort of thing. Like what is that?
So she doesn't like purple, but even I don't like purple. So that's also cool. I really like lilac and she doesn't like lilac. I don't think she would wear that color. I'm still trying to find something like really amazing in lilac so that I can change her mind. But more or less, I don't think she would wear yellow. Yellow, have we done? Yeah, we worn yellow twice actually, but more or less like she's not that comfortable with like pop colors. So I anyway as a person like don't love that.
So you all don't have any disagreements as such where she's like, okay fine, you're insisting, so I'll do this for you, I'll experiment with this for you type of thing?
I think there was this one time where we experimented with print and like with a different print on print. It was this Sakshan skinny outfit that we wore for a screening. So that was really experimental for me as well. Like I knew when I was taking that outfit to her that I was like, okay, she may just not like it, but I kind of had a feeling that it was really nice and it was something that would be completely different for her and me to do together. So I just took that chance. And then she, like, you know, you see something on a like just lying there, you don't really understand, but then you put it on, and if the silhouette and everything sort of looks good on you, then your mind will completely change to a certain garment. So yeah, I think that's exactly what happened. So I mean, sometimes I try to experiment with things and I'll get it to her and she'll wear it and both of us will be like, no, this is too much.
You've styled so many people and you also styled Veere. So I wanted to know, when you're styling, different personalities, how do you sort of break the barrier in your head? Because each person obviously doesn't have the same style sense, or they have different priorities when it comes to styling. So how do you, pick for that person?
I'll obviously ask whoever I'm styling before. So I'll have that conversation. I'll be like, okay, how do you want to look for this occasion? Like, do you want to go like super beautiful or super edgy or super anything, like however they feel like they want to dress, that's the direction I will look in. And then I'll get a bunch of things that I think will look good on their body. I'll get a bunch of things that I think will be in a safe zone. I think that things that will be in a making a statement zone, and then we take it from there. Like, we do a trial when we try on a vast amount of things, and then we kind of decide. And mostly, you once you do this trial and you see everything, you kind of end up always shortlisting like 2 of the best things, because you just instantly know when someone looks amazing in one thing over another.
So who would you say is one of the most experimental stars you've worked with so far?
Sonam for sure. Like, so yeah, like I think everybody has their strengths, and I think even Shanaya is quite experimental. I think everyone's experimental in their own space. So I mean, even like I've worked with Shobita, and she is her style is really experimental as well, but she also does like traditional things really, really beautifully, so it depends kind of what the mood is. Like, I style Lisa Mishra as well, and she's a musician, so I can experiment a lot with her as well. And then even with Tara, I can experiment in like what we like, in the 90s space, in the super minimal space. There's so much you can do within that as well. So I do think I like to experiment with everybody in some way or the other. I don't like anything looking the same twice. So yeah, I do experiment. Like, I think I make everybody experiment, I think.
So has anybody ever come to you with a look saying, I really like this look and I want to recreate it in my own way? And if that has happened, whose look has it been?
I don't think that's happened. I think we always draw inspiration from certain people. Yeah, like I don't think we've ever recreated a look. I actually, with Tara, I realized over lockdown that a lot of her looks were very similar to like Rachel Green styling in Friends, but none of that was planned. Like, it just happened to look the same way, and I was like, oh my god, like people are gonna think that I just like chapoed her style here, but no, it was just a coincidence. And yeah, so I think that would be the closest to getting inspired by something and then recreating a version of it.
So we haven't seen Shanaya and Khushi in on screen or anything. All we've seen is them at appearances, at events. But even at that, all of the looks that you've styled are so glamorous. So I want to know if what their personality is like for you to bring about that look.
Khushi I've styled once. Khushi I've done, I styled her for the Ambani wedding, for a red carpet. And Shanaya I've styled many times. I styled her for both the last 2 Diwalis and a few shoots and things like that. So I think Shanaya I know a lot better as well, and she's super young, and she is open to like wearing like completely like unheard of things and stuff like that. So with her, I know I can take like something really crazy and be like, like let's do this, and she won't disagree. Shanaya's more experimental, she's more edgy, she's more sporty and things like that, but she also she also enjoys doing like beautiful Indian and stuff. So we've done an Anamika Khanna with boots, and we've also done an Anamika Khanna with like a beautiful choker and like, you know, like super floral, flowy, things like that. So I think Shanaya really adapts to different kinds of clothes, and I think that's what I really like about her. And she's very open to like seeing all kinds of things, you know, because she's really cool, because she has a great sense of style on her own. Like I don't think she even needs a stylist. Like she's amazing.
Do you think fashion is in need of watchdogs like Diet Sabya today?
100%. 100%. Yeah. I think Diet Sabya is the reason everybody's on their toes. I think, you know what, the sad part is that, you know, as a stylist, when you have a brand shoot or when you have something where they're like, we want this, okay, so you can't go up to a brand and say, I'm not going to do that for you, because you have a responsibility as the stylist to give them what they want, or the way they portray it. So it's really hard sometimes, because I know that some of the stylists who've been called out on Diet Sabya, I know that they wouldn't necessarily put that on that person unless it was a brief given to them. So I think in some sense it's a little unfair, especially when it comes to advertising, because, you know, as a stylist, especially me as a budding stylist, like I won't have a say in stuff like that. But what I try to do in a situation like that is I always tell them, like, I'll do a version of it. So I will give you that color, I'll give you that silhouette, but I will get a designer to design something for me that isn't exactly what your reference is. So that's, I think, how I've managed to, I don't know, by the grace of God, avoid being on Diet Sabya. I think I've been on Diet Sabya like once, but it was an inspiration thing. Like they just like, it wasn't like this has been copied. So I am really careful when it comes to what I style, because I don't believe in copying anybody's work. Like I have a lot of respect for designers, because designers who make like honest, like who work hard and who are really you know, putting a lot of thought into their collections. I don't believe that their work should be ripped off ever, because I've been to fashion school and I've seen like people make like 100-page research books on collections. So I know the process, and I know, you know, it's so unfair to just do something like that to them. So yeah, I do think that Diet Sabya should exist, because now everyone who was originally just taking and putting there is not doing that, because they fear being called out. So yeah.
So out of all the looks that you have styled, which would you say is your personal favorite today?
So I think the pink, light pink Anita Dongre look that I styled on Tara for Arman Jain's wedding, that was my favorite look of all time, because I just feel like everything sort of worked out with the styling, the hair and makeup. It just all came together, like everything down right to the bindi was just, for me, it was absolute perfection.
Yeah. I think that's about it. Thank you so much for joining us today.
You're welcome. I was so happy to be here.
Yeah.